Yuki was a kind-hearted but socially invisible boy who spent most of his time alone. One afternoon, while a group of boys discussed their team being one member short, one of them suggested inviting Yuki. However, another quickly dismissed the idea, calling Yuki a spineless nobody who did nothing except type endlessly on his phone diary. On his way home, Yuki came across a rock and noted in his diary that, despite having a face his mother swore was main character material, he had always turned away potential friends during elementary school. His overly quiet and observant nature made others avoid him, leaving him isolated. In time, Yuki began speaking to imaginary friends he created in his mind, one of them being a self-proclaimed god of time and space named Deus Ex Machina. During one of their imaginary conversations, Deus's assistant mocked Yuki, saying that if he kept behaving like a paranoid recluse, he would never find love. Deus then asked Yuki whether he wanted to change his lonely life. When Yuki stayed silent, Deus declared that he would personally alter his fate. That night, a mysterious woman was killed by a serial murderer somewhere in the city. The next morning, Yuki found his phone lying beside him with a diary entry already written for the entire day. Assuming he had written it in his sleep, he brushed it off until he saw a live news report about the same murder described word for word in his diary. Shocked, Yuki realized the entries were predicting the future. Disturbed, he spoke to Deus, who claimed responsibility for granting him this new, future diary. Yuki tried to deny the god's existence, insisting Deus was just a creation of his imagination. But Deus countered that even if he existed only in Yuki's mind, that still made him real in a sense. He then warned Yuki that while the diary could predict the future, destroying the phone would also destroy Yuki's own fate, meaning his death. After overcoming his initial fear, Yuki began to enjoy the advantages of knowing what would happen next. His grades suddenly improved, and he managed to avoid traps set by jealous classmates. For a moment, he felt like he had finally gained control of his life. But during one class, his confidence vanished when Yuno Gasai, the most popular girl at school, glanced his way. He couldn't understand why someone so perfect would ever notice someone like him. When class ended and everyone left, Yuki noticed a small clay figure resembling his imaginary companion placed on Yuno's desk. He checked his diary again and saw the chilling words, "The End," written on the screen. Terrified, he whispered in confusion about what kind of future awaited him. Suddenly, Yuno appeared and cryptically told him that his future was darker than he could imagine. Panicking, Yuki ran out of the classroom. While escaping, his diary updated again, showing that Yuno would soon chase him across the city. Just as predicted, she cornered him inside an elevator. Trapped and terrified, Yuki prepared to defend himself, but before he could act, Yuno calmly leaned forward and kissed him. She then revealed that her own diary had foretold this moment, assuring him she wasn't the one trying to kill him. Yuki soon encountered a masked man wielding a sword. Yuno calmly told him that this man was the serial killer responsible for recent attacks, and, more importantly, the third holder of a mysterious future diary. As Yuki listened, he realized with growing unease that Yuno had been monitoring his every move. When she revealed that her diary had predicted his death, panic set in. But Yuno reassured him that she had a plan. They made their way to the rooftop, where Yuki hid as the masked man, Hayama, appeared. The moment was tense and silent, until Yuno suddenly launched her ambush. Taking advantage of the chaos, Yuki threw a dart at Hayama's phone, destroying it and causing the killer to vanish into a dark vortex. With the danger gone, Yuki immediately summoned Deus and demanded an explanation. He wanted to know why there were other diary holders besides him. Deus coldly responded that he had never been Yuki's friend. This was a survival game, and only one person could win. Before Yuki could process this, he found himself standing in a strange space surrounded by other diary holders. Deus explained the rules. Each participant possessed a future diary with unique abilities, and the last person alive would inherit his throne. As the meeting ended, several contestants openly announced their plans to eliminate Yuki, seeing him as the god's favorite. That night, Yuki woke up drenched in sweat from a nightmare. He couldn't stop thinking about Yuno's earlier claim that her diary updated every 10 minutes with entries about his future. The thought made him uncomfortable, realizing that even his privacy was gone. The next morning, Yuki wondered if he had really erased Hayama from existence. When he arrived at school, a new teacher introduced himself as a temporary replacement for Hayama. Lost in thought, Yuki could barely focus, fearing that all the other diary holders were now hunting him. He debated whether to talk to Yuno, despite her obsessive and unpredictable nature. Eventually, he decided to confide in her, and she promised they would discuss it later. Left alone in the classroom, Yuki tried to calm down until a strange girl approached him. She mentioned that Hayama had been a serial killer and revealed that his diary had been called the Murder Diary. She explained that he was eliminated while trying to attack another diary holder. As she moved closer, Yuki's instincts screamed danger. When she reached for his phone, he checked his diary and saw a red, dead-end warning, a clear sign that his life was in danger. Before the girl could strike, Yuno burst into the room, swinging a fire extinguisher. The mysterious attacker dodged easily and introduced herself as the 9th diary holder before fleeing. Moments later, a massive explosion rocked the building, killing countless students. Yuno shielded Yuki from the blast as he trembled, realizing the dead-end warning meant he only had 3 hours to live. Yuno swore she would protect him, and for the first time, Yuki understood that he needed her on his side, no matter how unstable she was. Without hesitation, Yuki asked Yuno to guard him. She agreed, sealing their strange bond by sharing a symbolic kiss. Moments later, the 9th diary user hijacked the school speaker system, announcing that she had taken control of the entire building. Yuno then explained to Yuki that his diary was known as the Random Diary, which recorded everything he saw. law. Because of this, he could gather vast amounts of information to stay ahead of danger. She urged him to check his latest entry, which revealed that Classroom 2C was about to explode. Acting instantly, Yuno tackled Yuki to the ground just as a powerful blast tore through the hall. Though shaken, Yuki began to grow confident, believing victory would be easy as long as Yuno was with him. But another explosion nearby shattered that illusion. Frustrated, Yuki complained that his diary only recorded what happened around him, nothing more. Yuno replied that since her diary tracked everything about him, their two diaries together could cover each other's weaknesses. Instead of feeling relieved, Yuki broke down, confessing that his entire life had been spent alone, afraid of getting hurt. He admitted that he watched others live from a distance because he was too scared to join them. Seeing him cry, Yuno's expression softened. To her, Yuki looked like a helpless hamster trapped on a wheel, running endlessly without purpose. With a comforting smile, she told him they should meet up with their classmates, believing they might finally find allies who would protect him. Yuki eagerly agrees to the plan, deciding to reveal the cell phone diary to his classmates. But as he goes along with it, Yuno starts to sense something is wrong. Before she can react, Yuki is suddenly restrained by his own peers. It turns out that Yu, the bomber girl, had promised them freedom in exchange for capturing him. As Yuno herself is overpowered, she realizes she was mistaken to ever call these people Yuki's friends. All of them seem ready to betray him for their own survival. Furious, Yuno breaks free and rushes toward Yuki, just as the explosives set by Yu start detonating across the building. Even Yu is caught off guard by the chaos, wondering who would risk their lives for Yuki. When the dust clears, a man appears and intervenes. It's Kigo Kurusu, the fourth diary holder. He introduces himself as a police officer whose investigation diary predicts crimes before they occur. Yu immediately tries to use that against him, claiming that if he doesn't execute Yuki, everyone in the area will die. Unfazed, Kigo points his weapon toward Yuki. Just when Yuki braces for the end, Yuno leaps between them, attacking Yu head-on. Seeing the distraction, Kigo shouts for Yuki to grab Yu's diary and finish this before she can strike again. Guided by Yuno's directions through the minefield, Yuki pushes forward. Yu manages to capture Yuno, but Yuki's classmates unexpectedly step in, hurling objects to distract the bomber. Using the opening, Yuki throws his dart, striking Yu in the eye and knocking the remote from her hand. Kigo declares that the game is over, but Yu activates a smoke bomb and escapes on her motorbike, revealing her diary's name, the Escape Diary. Later, Kigo proposes an alliance to Yuki and Yuno, suggesting that together they can uncover all the remaining diary holders and end this deadly game. Yuki agrees, and Yuno is relieved to see him safe again. The next day, Kigo invites the two to his office and explains that they'll use themselves as bait, heading to an amusement park to draw out their next opponent. Yuki reluctantly agrees, and the pair set off. At the park, Yuki tries to ask Yuno why she's so obsessed with him, but she pulls him away to enjoy the rides instead. Over time, he forgets his worries and starts to see how endearing she can be. Eventually, drained from the excitement, Yuki asks again, why does she follow him so closely? Instead of answering directly, Yuno reminds him of the day they first met. Back in middle school, she had found him sitting alone, filling out a form about his dreams for the future. He'd written that he wanted to see the stars with his family, though he admitted his parents' divorce had made that impossible. Before he could erase his answer, Yuno had boldly declared that one day, she would be his wife, and they would see the stars together. Back in the present, Yuno gently kisses Yuki on the forehead, and the two head back to her home.